And security is not a devolved function. Madam Speaker, the people who are advocating for the removal of this fund are people who do not understand what the person at the grassroots level feels about it. These are people who are able to pay the school fees of their kids, who are able to educate their children, who are able to do other things that NGCDF is doing for the people of Kenya. Madam Speaker, as much as we argue whether we entrench or not, we need to understand the following. One, Madam Speaker, are these funds meant for specific members of parliament? Are the funds being used by members of parliament for their own gains? We all know these funds are used for a specific purpose by a board. The members of parliament are doing their oversight role, which is to confirm and make sure that money are used appropriately and the right way that is required by law. But this notion, Madam Speaker, of some members or Kenyans believe that these funds are used by members of parliament is not here, not there. And I say so. And if I may say, it's hot air. They know, but they're doing it because they don't want these funds to go to the village level. Madam Speaker, today if we say we abolish these funds, what will happen to the people of Wajir West? What will happen to the schools of the remotest place in this country? The schools that cannot get any infrastructure development from national government since inception, Madam Speaker. And their only source of funding was NGCDF, Madam Speaker. There is no school in Wajir West that was not either built, equipped by CDF, Madam Speaker. That clearly shows this money is doing exactly what the national government and the county government, the two levels of government, were supposed to do, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, it will be very unfair to the people of Wajir West if these funds are removed, Madam Speaker. On behalf of the people of Wajir West, Madam Speaker, I want to put on records that these funds should be entrenched in the Constitution, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I have seen some busybodies, I say so, who are always running to the courts to challenge whatever is good for this country, Madam Speaker. It is unfortunate that even those who are at the corridor of justice or courts to challenge the legality of these funds, Madam Speaker, are coming to members of parliament or going to the CDF board or CDF committee to request for bursaries, Madam Speaker, including the judges, Madam Speaker. They go to the CDF committee of their constituency to request for funds. And in that same place, they are here judging against the legality of these funds, Madam Speaker. Everybody knows, Madam Speaker, whether these funds are supporting the people of Kenya properly or not. What we need as a House I can see members of parliament are not around today. I want to urge everybody to come so that we get to third. To third. Most of the members of parliament should come and vote. Madam Speaker, I withdraw before.
Honorable Beatrice Kemei, what is out of order?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Is it in order for the honorable member to say that members of parliament are not in this house? They are not here. And we are all here, Honorable Speaker. Let him debate on what he wants to say, but not to that we are not here.
Honorable Mohammed has already corrected, and I think what what you mean is that we must attain 2:33 in the afternoon.
Yes, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we must attain to third 2:33 today so that we entrench this into the Constitution, Madam Speaker. If we are serious about this bill, if we are serious about the people of Kenya, if we are serious about children, our children, we must entrench this bill into the Constitution, Madam Speaker. With those few remarks, I support the bill, Madam Speaker. Thank you for giving me.
Honorable member for Nairobi, Honorable Pasaris.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to contribute to the bill on entrenching NGCDF, GAF, and creating an oversight Senate fund as well. Madam Speaker, the first thing I have to say is, first of all, I regret what happened in Nairobi County and across the country yesterday. What was supposed to be a peaceful demonstration was not peaceful. Lots of people ended up losing their lives. So many others were injured. And on top of it, a lot of people lost property. And Nairobi came to a standstill, as did many other parts of the country. And I want to appeal to the civil society organizations and all those that have good, huge followings on social media, that we have only one country. And if we do not respect that we have only one country and the situation that this country finds itself right now, with heightened unemployment, with limited budgets to fulfill the needs of the entire country, just coming out and calling and, thinking it's a beautiful selfie moment, let's undermine the police service and expect them to serve us. Seeing a policewoman get brutally kicked by the public, seeing another policeman get attacked. I'm not saying that what the police did in terms of exercising, not exercising restraint and shooting innocent participants in the demonstrations. What I want to say is, when you push the police to the limits that we are pushing them, knowing that there's one policeman for 500, and when we threaten their own safety, then we are also asking for trouble. And I believe that everybody yesterday is culpable. It's not just the police that shot. Those who also called for these demonstrations and funded them and caused the mayhem that they did. Because if it's peaceful demonstrations, then no county will be on shutdown. But a lot of the country came on shutdown yesterday. When you say that you're having peaceful demonstrations for memorials, and then you end up saying you want to occupy State House, and that is where you're going, then you're actually looking to overthrow a government, and that cannot be allowed. We have to understand that we have one country, and we have to work together. We're in a bad place in terms of the economy, and the president is trying as much as possible to get us back on track as a country, but the opposition is taking advantage and trying to misuse poverty, trying to divide us on tribal lines, and trying to cause mayhem. The lives that were lost is not blood on the police hands. It's blood on the politicians that funded this. It is blood on the civil society movements. And I also want to talk to Kenya Law Society. You're the law society, not just for the civil society. You're the law society for the entire country. You're the law society for that woman who lost her shop. You're the law society for that mother who lost her child. You're the law society for the many policemen that were also injured. So I really say that, this country needs to take a break and focus on allowing the government to do the job that it wants to do. It's like they want to undermine the government so that they can actually move in, but that's not the way to win an election. Tell the public what you're going to do for them. Show them by example what you're going to do for them. Before I became an elected woman, leader of parliament, I was already a leader. I had already done the projects of Adopt a Light. I was already employing deaf people. What are you doing? You came out of government, you want to get into government, and you're promising things. We have a former Chief Justice who's also trying to do that. So for me, I really feel that we need to focus on ensuring that we have peace in this country.
Honorable Bensouda, what is out of order?
Don't tell me to sit. We are legislators. We need
Honorable
to go the right
Bensouda,
track.
address the speaker.
Thank you, Speaker. I'm sorry I withdraw. What I wanted to ask, is it in order? We are debating NGCDF GAF, but I'm hearing very, very fundamental contribution on police brutality and any other issue that we should do. Could the contributor, the honorable member for from Nairobi County, explain whether that is related to enshrining NGCDF GAF into the Constitution? Thank you.
Honorable Passaris, by the standing orders, you will maintain relevance to the debate.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. But I cannot be ignorant of what happened in my county yesterday and in the country at large. As legislators and representatives of the people, it will be amiss on me not to offer condolences to all the people that have lost their loved ones and continue to lose their loved ones because civil society cannot hold itself and its horses, and the political wing is also trying to undermine the country. Madam Speaker, as I stand here, I speak as a patron of GAF. I have seen all these funds, GAF and NGCDF, being riddled with many, many court battles. And the thing is, nobody wants to understand the impact that these funds have on the society. When you look at NGCDF, the first time I came to know what was NGCDF when I got into Parliament was when the late Honorable Ken Okoth called me to Kibra and showed me we were opening a school that was funded by NGCDF. It was not him that funded it. It was not Kibra, Ken Okoth, who funded it. It was him, and him as the MP ensuring that the fund that was what was provided for Kibra was actually doing the job that it's supposed to be done, and making sure that the direction and the standards he's giving and guidance. But the fund was actually being oversighted by committee members appointed and an NGCDF board member. So they were the ones who took and owned the project. But him as the area MP would give leadership. For instance, I am the patron of GAF. GAF receives a lot of money, for Constituency Development Fund. GAF receives a lot of money in terms of various votes. One of the votes that we have is county-wide vote. And in the county-wide vote, when we realized that the committee members came and said, we have a problem with SGBV, we actually decided to save the money, look for the land, and we're putting up the first county-owned safe house and shelter in Nairobi County. That would not have been done if we just said that we leave everything to the governors and the executive. Nobody had thought of building a safe house in Nairobi. And I've seen a number of women reps also deal with safe houses, deal with rehab centers. So there are gaps and there are voids. And those gaps and voids are being filled with these funds. We also have a situation where, for instance, during COVID, we had Mama Fuas come to us and say, you know what, now we can't go into people's houses to wash clothes because of COVID. And our businesses are going down. This is how we raise our money. GAF together, the committee sat together and said, why don't we create stations for them to be able to operate? So we put in washing machines, dryers, and ironing boards and gave them the equipment so that they would be able to conduct their business. So that was something that a gap is bridged by the National Government Affirmative Action Fund. There's so many other projects. We also empower people to be able to start businesses in terms of portion meals, in terms of TV centers, in terms of motorbikes for the border. This fund has its role. And I believe to always be going into court, in and out of court, and derailing the progress of the funds in terms of bursaries, in terms of affirmative action, in terms of persons living with disability provisions, in terms of education, in terms of police stations. I've seen police stations funded. I mean, when you go to Ruaraka, Honorable TJ Kajwang has put a police station. These are gaps. We even had the judiciary once come and engage us as members of parliament and saying, you know, we need courts and we want you to help allocate some money for us to build courts closer to the people. So for me, this fund needs to be entrenched in law so that it stops being taken to and from, so that it can continue the good work that it's done. After 20 years, you come back and say this fund should be gone. Do you know other countries actually want the fund because the MPs are not able to actually see that the grassroots is getting met in terms of its need. So, Madam Speaker, as I stand here, I really hope that we will be able to entrench this into law, and I hope that GAF can also be apportioned to a percentage like NGCDF, so as the economy grows, GAF fund grows. It cannot be a standard blanket 3 billion. It has to be entrenched into law so that we can be able to grow as the economy grows. So I stand here and I support all these funds so that we can be able to effectively deliver what we've been delivering to the grassroots in real time as it's required, through the various structures that have been put in place, where I am just a patron, the MP is just a patron, and we can be able to ensure that our people are served very well. Thank you very much.
Member for Nambale, Honorable Geoffrey Mulanya.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to add my voice on this particular bill. Madam Speaker, the fight against NGCDF is not just the fight on the fund. This is a misplaced fight whereby we find many people wants to fight members of parliament. They wrongly direct the anchor onto this particular fund. Madam Speaker, when you walk around the country, you realize the gains made by this particular fund. And especially in my constituency where I come from, in Nambale, we have many schools that have been constructed, new schools that have been brought up using NGCDF. And Madam Speaker, you know that Article 53 guarantees the Kenyan children free basic education. How do you achieve this? It will not be achievable, Madam Speaker, if our children are covering a distance of 2-3 kilometers to go and come back from school. And Madam Speaker, in Nambale constituency, we have earmarked 6 new schools. To achieve this, the only fund that can help the people of Nambale is the NGCDF, that through the national government, we can have the funds available to have these new schools and have our children accessing schools near by their homes. And Madam Speaker, even the judges that sit in these courts and decide on these particular cases, they are products that who came through the schools that most of them came through government schools. But considering the current times, we cannot have that the modern children covering a distance of 3 kilometers to attend school. And that's why we are saying that we should have a fund whereby we reduce this particular coverage for our children so that they can have a lesser distance to attend to the school. Madam Speaker, we note that we have the administrative units. Initially, in most parts of our country, chiefs and assistant chiefs never used to have offices. All these gains made so that our people can be served properly by the administrative units has been made through the NGCDF funds. So when we withdraw this particular fund, because people are saying that the NGCDF is pocket change for the members of parliament, will be causing great injustice to the people of Kenya. So the only option that we have is to have this particular fund entrench the constitution and even increase its allocation so that these particular funds that come from the national government can be applied to development in the rural areas in all parts of the country. Even if we say that the fund offends the doctrine of separation of powers, Madam Speaker, we must appreciate that the funds that are channeled to the NGCDF funds are only applied to the national government fund functions, which is education, security, and administration. So when we say that this fund is withdrawn, the funds will never be applied to the county governments, because the county government, they have their own allocations, and as has been said here, we are 13 years into devolution. But in many parts of this country, you find that there are schools without ECD classes. So the county government or the devolved units, they must first of all concentrate on the funds they have, apply the funds available, so that they allow the national government also to perform their functions. We as members of parliament, we are mere patrons. Our duty is just to ensure that there is equity in distribution of these funds or application of the fund to all parts of the constituency, but we are not involved in the appropriation, we are not involved in the expenditure. Myself, in my constituency, I've never seen an NGCDF check, apart from the bursary checks that we normally supervise distribution. So, Madam Speaker, I support the entrenchment of the NGCDF into the Constitution, so that those busybodies that rush to court will not now rush to court and say that these particular funds are constitutional. Madam Speaker, I support.
Very well. The Deputy Majority Whip, Honorable Wako.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to add my voice to this very important debate that is going on. As I also want to thank Honorable Otiende Amolo and Samuel Chepkonga for bringing this. Honorable Speaker, if there is any bill that we all need to participate in, it is this bill, because it touches the lives of our people, and especially the vulnerable people. Honorable Speaker, the poverty level in this country is quite high. And the only way that we have managed to get to our people and also help them in their need is through CDF and NGAF money. Honorable Speaker, NGAF money cannot be compared to what CDF is doing or the amount of money that we receive in CDF. However, the impact that even NGAF has had is quite huge. It has transformed lives. We have been able to educate people. We have distributed those items that really matter to the people at the grassroots level. And again, that little money that we have been given has been used very well. Honorable Speaker, there is good accountability and good stewardship under the 47 women reps in this county. That money has also brought equalization in our country, because before, those of us who come from remote areas and far places have not felt the presence of the government. But through these monies, we have taken services closer to our people. We have educated people. We have transformed lives. And Honorable Speaker, when we go to the grounds and empower over 15 women groups, some 10 youth groups, some people living with disability, and you give them a check of 100,000 and empowering them to improve their businesses, then we have created some work for them. They are creating their own wealth, and we are transforming that particular village. Honorable Speaker, when you go to the CDF, the honorable members have done a lot of things. Honorable Speaker, they have provided bursaries, just as women reps have been doing. They have been doing school infrastructure development. They have been doing technical training institute. Honorable Speaker, some of them have been building Kenya medical training colleges, and support also to national administration, things that have not been there before. I have seen them even participating in a construction of Huduma centers. And by doing all that, we have improved
the lives of the people at the grassroots level. We have brought services to the people. We have also created jobs for our young people. Honorable Speaker, many are the times that Kenyans have been fighting these particular funds because there are people who think that it benefits the individual honorable members. And it is unfortunate because in our country today, people like fighting one another and especially fighting members of parliament. Honorable Speaker, many of us have sacrificed a lot to transform the lives of people on the ground. And I want to beg the citizens, please give members of parliament the opportunity to serve you and even serve you better, to serve the country in a better way. Honorable Speaker, if there is anything that needs our support, it is this bill, because we are not doing it for ourselves, but we are doing it on behalf of our citizens. And for GAF, women reps have suffered because out of the little money we get, many people have been always targeting to cut this or to demoralize women leaders. It is my prayer that GAF will be even increased so that we will be able to reach out to many other in the villages who need our support. And it is only us who understand the needs in the villages, and especially the needs of women, the needs of young people, the needs of people living with disability. With those few remarks, I support. Thank you. Bishop Kosgei.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I also, on the onset, wish to support this bill to have NGCDF and GAV entrenched in the Constitution because of two things, Madam Speaker. Number one is the impact of these funds since its establishment several years ago, how it has impacted on the people. It has been said, Madam Speaker, that you cannot deny citizens a right they have enjoyed legally. You can only enhance it. Secondly, the impact of this fund can be seen, Madam Speaker. Also, to have it entrenched in the Constitution is the best way we can enhance this particular fund because it is benefiting the citizens of this country. Number two, Madam Speaker, the reason why I support this particular fund and funds is the issue and intention of devolution. The very spirit and intent of the Constitution, by bringing in devolution, meant the transfer of power and resources closer to the people. And the question which was in the minds of the drafters of the Constitution was to have a primary goal to bring governance closer to the people, fostering greater participation by the public, and equitable resource allocation. Madam Speaker, the question before us should not be whether or not we should have NGCDF or GAV, but how do we enhance devolution? And this is one way of doing it, taking resources and the right of citizens to participate in an equitable manner closer to them by legal and practical means. With this, Madam Speaker, I appeal to all Kenyans of goodwill as the members of Parliament undertake this afternoon on their behalf to entrench it in the Constitution, to appreciate that this is one way we are enhancing devolution in our country. With that, Madam Speaker, I support. Thank you.
Very well. Honorable Member for Teso North, Honorable Kaunya.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to lend my voice to this and say I support this amendment, Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill 2025, to entrench the CDF and the GAF as well as the Senate oversight into the Constitution. Honorable Speaker, I want to emphasize one important thing that NGCDF has done in the country. It has brought about inclusivity and equity in areas and communities or constituencies where we have had marginalized communities, such as where I come from, the Teso community. It has been able to provide resources that have uplifted this community. I want to give the example that when I came in 2017, Honorable Speaker, the constituency of Teso North did not have a single government college or training institution. No single college since independence. And because through the NGCDF, we've been able to establish, the committee worked around the clock and established 4 institutions. These 4 institutions today have over 4,000 students. Honorable Speaker, the institutions such as the Kenya Medical Training College has over 700 students. And these students walk from home, from their villages to the college, and therefore the cost of training goes down. Even the poorer sections of the community are able to access education. We have a TTI which has over 3,000 students. We were able to establish a National Youth Service Institute that has been able to be operationalized through NGCDF. And we have also been able to establish a KIBIT, Kenya Institute of Highway and Building Technology. Honorable Speaker, without this, an area such as that, and there are many areas that have been marginalized in this country, would not have the opportunity for development. And therefore, NGCDF entrenchment is key to ensuring that we entrench inclusivity and equity in development in this country. Secondly, Honorable Speaker, I want to say the entrenchment of these funds is going to address poverty alleviation in various areas that are affected. Children who are unable to access education because of poverty, Honorable Speaker, have been able to get through bursaries. It is only the NGCDF bursaries that are felt on the ground. And because many of these children could not access education, the bursary we need actually to enhance, and therefore entrenching it is going to help us to ensure that access to education is open to even poor children. Honorable Speaker, again, if I give the example of my constituency, we have had more than 2,000 students sponsored, fully sponsored by CDF in various colleges and to undertake different courses. At the same time, we see that in terms of bursaries, we have had more than 30,000 who have been able to benefit from bursaries, and therefore they are kept in school, they are able to perform. Honorable Speaker, apart from construction of infrastructure and schools and the sponsorship for these children, the CDF fund particularly has done a lot on schools in the improving infrastructure of schools. And Honorable Speaker, in this particular fund, I support the idea of entrenching because again, Kenya has been experimenting on these development strategies or ways by which we progress as a country. At the independence, you'll recall, Honorable Speaker, we had the sessional paper number 10 of 1965 on African socialism and its application to development in Kenya. One of the things that we were trying to experiment then is to see how best we can achieve equity, development, and of course distribution of resources as well as political devolution of sort. We had talked of regionalism that time. Over time, in the 80s, you'll recall, Honorable Speaker, we had the district development committees. Honorable Speaker, I happen to have been one of those days of when we had the DDCs. I was a DC at one stage, and it was an instrument that the government was trying to ensure that resources, there's participation by local leadership, as well as all the departments at the district level in planning and ensuring that these resources reach the ground. This particular DDC, after the devolution brought in now the counties. The whole experiment of counties and the whole experiment of what we have been applying, that is the CDF, is actually a progression. Honorable Speaker, I want to support that as of today, this NGCDF particularly has proved to be a fund that is working. And therefore, we need to entrench it in the Constitution, as well as we have now counties as devolved units. I wish that this Honorable House will come back after entrenching this. We should be able to consider entrenching the Ward Development Fund, and this Ward Development Fund will ensure that the devolved funds that go to counties, Honorable Speaker, can reach to the grassroots. So as the Constituency Development Fund, which is national government funds, reach the constituencies, we also want the ones that are in the county government to reach the wards. And therefore, the public will really feel the development that is required. So, Honorable Speaker, I thank you for giving me this opportunity, and I support the entrenchment of NGCDF, the NGAF, as well as the Senate Oversight Fund in this Constitution. I also want to urge all members, let us all turn up and give the 2/3. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Member for Mandera, she has walked out. Member for Kwanza.
It's a lovely opportunity. First and foremost, I want to take this opportunity to thank the two members of Parliament, Honorable Chikonga and Otieno, for coming up with this so that can entrench the NGCDF into the Constitution. Madam Speaker, without going, I think we have talked so much about it. And those who are opposing this particular NGCDF, CAF, and of course the oversight fund by the senators, are those staying in Nairobi. I can tell you, they don't even go home. They don't even know what is happening at home. You ask, and I met one of them, a very senior lawyer, and asked him, how have you been? Oh, how's home? He has not been at home to see exactly what NGCDF has done, what CAF has done, and oversight has done. And therefore, Madam Speaker, this is an opportunity for this House to be able to entrench this in the Constitution and forget about that noise that is being done out there, because they don't know what they are talking about. They are talking because they just want to talk for the sake of it, to meet their presence, whatever it is. Some of them, I think, are even very senior lawyers. And therefore, I want to take this opportunity again to say, without NGCDF, what this country will go through, and you can ask me, it means we'll go back to Harambe. Even the students who are supposed to go to school and we're supposed to do that. Madam Speaker, it means we're going back to Harambee to take our children. Once you go to Form 1, Form 2, Form 3, parents will be coming to you as members of the parliament, as a women rep, as a senate, that now my child is supposed to go to school and they have no money. So because of the structure that we have put in place, the NGCDF has taken care of that. I don't get involved at all. All I know that I do the oversight, and they have done a very good job, because I know it's a very broad-based. Even my district sub-county commission is involved. And then, of course, the committee is also involved. Very representative. For me, I come from Trans Nzoia. It's a small Kenya. And I can tell you, Madam Speaker, we have had a very good presentation of this, and it has done a lot of. You go to Kwanza, go to any one of the constituencies in this country, you can see what CDF has done. In the absence of CDF, Madam Speaker, we're going back to Harambee, where we have to go back and ask, okay, fine, we want to build up a second school, a primary school here, there are no classrooms, even the toilets, you'll do Harambee. But CDF, all you need to do, you get information from the committee of the particular school, and that's it. They want this CDF to go to the county. It's actually a joke, because I come from a county, and you can see even ECD, construction of ECDs are not there. So what does it mean? You take this to the county, and all you are doing is that you are enabling our brothers and sisters who are at home, the governors, what have you, to use money. And most of it, we have had cases in the courts where they have been accused of misuse of the money. So assume now you take the money to whatever county. I don't want to mention my county. In fact, today as we are talking, my governor is actually in trouble because of misuse of the money. Now assume now you are taking the CDF for 5 constituencies to the county. Oh, what will you get? Nothing. You'll be hearing nothing but court cases. And therefore, Madam Speaker, this afternoon, let's put this particular funding in the Constitution, and we are not begging anybody. It's all right, because we want to avoid the problems that we've been having in the past. We avoid Harambes. Those of you who don't know, some of us have been here for quite some time. Those were the days when you will be asked, okay, now you see, whatever it is, you want to build up a lot, even toilets. Then you have to call for the Harambes. That again is not something that we have to go forward, and therefore this is an opportunity for us this afternoon, Madam Speaker, for each one of us to be able to come and please let's vote for this so they can be able to entrench this into the Constitution. And the last one and not least, Madam Speaker, I also want to take this opportunity to remind members of Parliament that we don't get involved in this running of the CDF. All we do is oversight. And I've not had anybody being taken to court because he used the money from the CDF. None, or a CAF, or even the senators. So again, we'll be able to assist the senators to be able to do the oversight in our sub-counties and counties, and therefore we pass this afternoon so we can go a way forward. May I take this opportunity to say thank you very much for the opportunity and the support.
Thank you very much. Unfortunately, members, our time for the morning session is up. We take note that there is a lot of interest, and I have requested the clerk to note members who have been queuing. As long as you'll be in the House, you'll get the first opportunity in the afternoon to make your contributions. Order, members. And the time being 1:01 p.m., this House stands adjourned until Thursday, 26 June 2025 at 2:30 p.m.